From Steven Spielberg's blockbuster film to Jeff Wayne's rock opera, H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds has seen a great many adaptations since its publication in 1898. Yet none have been as controversial or have had as enduring an impact on the public consciousness as Orson Welles' 1938 radio drama. Not even Welles himself could have foreseen the panic and chaos that was to ensue. It was a chilly autumn evening on October 30th, 1938, just a day before Halloween. Families across America huddled around their radios, tuning in to their favorite programs. Orson Welles and his Mercury Theatre on the air had something special planned for their listeners. As the clock struck 8 p.m., Welles and his team began their dramatization of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. The broadcast was designed to mimic a real news bulletin. It started with a weather report and a musical performance by Ramon Raquello and his orchestra, but then the music was abruptly interrupted. "Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin," said the announcer. The report went on to talk about how strange explosions on the planet Mars had been detected from Earth. The tension escalated as the program switched to a live report from Grover's Mill, New Jersey, where a cylindrical object had supposedly landed. Using sound effects that were chillingly realistic, the voice of the reporter on the scene conveyed a sense of urgency and dread as he described the alien creatures emerging from the cylinder and then attacking the local populace. The production team went to great lengths to make the broadcast sound authentic. Welles later said that he was inspired by a real-life event, the Hindenburg disaster, to create a sense of urgency and realism. The mass media was not as ubiquitous as it is today, and so for many, it wouldn't have even crossed their minds that what they were listening to was all part of the show. The United States was already on edge due to the looming threat of war in Europe, and so the minds of listeners were already primed to believe what they were hearing as real events. Those who had tuned in late to the broadcast would have missed the initial disclaimer and were thus thrown into a narrative that seemed terrifyingly plausible and all too real. Reports of an alien invasion spread like wildfire. According to news reports following the broadcast, phones began to ring off the hook at police stations, newspapers, and radio stations. Families fled their homes, and those that chose to stay armed themselves in preparation to defend against the aliens. All across the city, traffic jams occurred as people tried to escape the invaded areas. Eventually, those caught up in the hysteria realized that what had been broadcast was just a show, and the rumors about Martians invading were just that. In the aftermath, Orson Welles found himself both vilified and celebrated. The Federal Communications Commission immediately investigated the incident, eventually concluding that while some people were fooled, CBS had not broken any laws. Recent scholarship has cast a new light on the extent of the panic that supposedly swept the nation on that fateful night. The hysteria may have been amplified and sensationalized by the newspapers of the time, eager to prove to advertisers and regulators that radio was a medium not to be trusted. According to these accounts, only a few were taken in by the tale of Martian invaders. Many who caught only fragments of the broadcast or heard the rumors secondhand were more likely under the impression that some sort of disaster had befallen the East Coast rather than an extraterrestrial invasion. Although Welles later said that he and his production team never intended to pull the wool over the public's eyes, this didn't stop him from capitalizing on the controversy for his own myth-building benefit. The event cemented Welles as a household Hollywood name, with him going on to create his cinematic masterpiece, Citizen Kane, 3 years later in 1941. Orson Welles' stunt was not the first of its kind, and it was certainly not the last either. It's easy to write off people as gullible, but cast your mind to more recent incidents where people believed fictional media was true. Just think of the found footage genre, with films like The Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity fooling people into believing the stories were real. With the explosion of AI technologies and deep fakes, it's only a matter of time until the public, this time on a global scale, will be put to the test. If you enjoyed this video, we think you'll also be interested in these next ones. To continue supporting our channel, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing to History Hot Takes.